My name is Renata Iociene and I'm application engineer at AGACAD. Today we have a web session about modeling and documenting metal framing structures in Revit. First, I would like to start with a few words about our company. AGACAD is the pioneer development of Autodesk Revit add-ons and professional BIM software for IC fields. At the moment, we sold more than 8,500 commercial licenses in more than 85 countries. And we are gold partners of Autodesk. At the same time, we have authorized training and certification centers, and we are Autodesk authorized developers. We are operating since 1991, and we have departments in programming, project management, training, consulting, and sales. And this is our main team that works on making new products for Revit. As you can see here in this dialog, we can divide all our products into 9 parts. In the top place here we have MEP engineering solutions. So here you can find solutions for fire protection systems, for placing diffusers in the project, for placing radiators, and then for distributing hangers on your ductile pipes. Then we have BIM Tree Manager. It's very powerful for managing parameters and parameter values that are used in your project. Then we have 2 solutions in Sustainable Design Pro group. Then we have Smart Browser. Here you can find 4 browsers, 4 types of browsers. The free one, it goes for browsing the families from the library and loading them into the project. Using Smart Browser Pro version, you can modify parameters and parameter values for example, 100 elements from your library. Then we have a wood framing pack. Here you can find 4 solutions for framing your roof using rafters or trusses, and then for framing walls. And also right now we work on a new product, Floor Plus, that is going to be released very soon. Here we have cut opening. It's very powerful for cutting openings around ducts, pipes, cable traces, and conduits in walls, floors, ceilings, beams, and columns. Then tools for Revit add-ons. Here you can find different solutions for documentation and for modeling. So it's kind of small solutions, but at the same time it's very handy for example, adding dimensions or for numbering elements and so on. Then we have Smart Assemblies. It's a very powerful solution for making assemblies automatically and for preparing shop drawings. So you can very easily select a precast, for example, wall and make assembly with the dimensions, with the needed schedules, and place those views automatically into the sheets. And today we are going to talk about metal framing. Here you can find 2 solutions like Truss Plus and Wall Plus. Today I'm going to show you how to work with those 2 products. And then also the Floor Plus, we are working on that, and also it will be released very soon. So metal framing pack contains of 2 products, Wall Plus and Truss Plus. So the metal framing Wall Plus software provides a set of intuitive automated framing functions for wall frame design from model to shop drawings. And the same with the trusses. You can very easily make a design of the trusses, place them into the project in different ways, and at the same time you can prepare shop drawings. One more possibility that we have, you can export those elements into CNC machine. At the moment we did adaptation for 3 sample manufacturers, but also it could be adapted to any company and to any machine. So today I'm going to show you how the final result will look like that will be pushed into CNC machine. Okay, so I'm going to my Revit project, and after installation You can find Wall Plus and Truss Plus in the separate tools for Revit metal framing tab. So first that you have to do, you have to go to Framing Configuration dialog. And here you can find different configuration settings, how you would like to frame your walls. Actually, there are two types of frames. It's like it could be regular frames and then secondary frame. You can have separate configurations for different layers if it's necessary. So, like in my case, I have a regular Imperial wall metal frame configuration and Clark Dietrich configuration. So also you can create your own configuration names, and later you can save that for your future projects. So now let's take a look into those tabs. It's very easy to understand. There are common settings where you need to select the family that will be used for the vertical studs and for the horizontal plates. Also, this is very important tab where you have to add description and framing member names for every type of framing member. At the same time, all that information will go automatically into the family when it will be placed into the project. Then we have a wall framing tab with here you can say how you would like to place what will be the distance between the studs, how you would like to place it from the beginning or from the end of the wall or from the both sides of the wall. Then there are settings for the top and for the bottom plates, and additional settings for offsets from the start or from the end of the wall, from the top or base. Then we have separate tab for the window framing. Here you can predefine different configuration settings for the windows that are on non-bearing, on bearing walls, and from you can predefine different configuration settings for different window sizes. So here you will find a separate dialog with possibility how you would like to frame your wall. I'm sorry, your window. The same, it will go for the doors, and the same scenario you will have for the regular openings. So now you can use, let's say, if your ductile pipe is going through the wall, then also you can make those frames. Also, we have a separate tab for L connections, then T connections, then free end connections, V connections. Additional setting if you would like to add a ridge stud. Then we have separate settings for adding bridgings and noggings. Then for adding bracings. Then we have a separate setting for adding additional vertical and horizontal elements if it's necessary. Then also we can include additional details on horizontal faces. So in my case, I'm going to add clip angles from the left and from the right side of vertical studs. Also, there are different rules how you would like to place those families. Then we can also distribute anchors and any kind of your own created family. So, like in my case, we are loading sample families into the project automatically, but also you can use your own family with your own design, and you can predefine the rule how you would like to place those families into your wall. Then we can also include vertical holes and horizontal service holes. So after predefining that configurations, you have to select the wall. It's like regular wall that is created from your project. Go to wall link, and then you have to say what exactly you would like to use in this layer, in every layer. If you have more layers, then you can predefine different configurations for different layers. So right now I'm going to add the frame into this layer, and I'm going to use this configuration. And also I have one more additional type of the wall. let's take a look into this one. So here I have 3 layers. So I'm going to add the framing here and the sheetings from the both sides. And it will use another type of configuration. So that's it. We can frame those walls. So you can just filter the walls from the project, and you just need to press on frame wall. So now the tool is framing all those selected walls. I forgot to say that if you have any questions, you can add those questions into GoToWebinar dialog, and in the end of the session, I will try to answer them. Okay, so now the tool is creating 5 wall frames for my selected walls from the project. So as you see right now, I selected 2 different types of the walls, and here we're going to get 2 totally different configurations and totally different frames in 2 separate wall types. So now the tool is adding the frames on every wall, but still every frame will be as a single family. So anytime you will be able to select this family and modify that if it's needed. It will be created under structural framing category. And also all those frames will have analytical lines. So later you will be able to use that model in your calculation system. You will be able to add loads, for example, and export that into any calculation system. Okay, so we're finishing with making frames on all the walls. Okay, and we're finishing very soon. That's it. So we did those frames. Let's take a look closer and let's check how it's created. As you see right now, we added additional anchors and service holes also they are added, and additional vertical holes also. And if we will take a look into the families, right now the tool uses such metal frames and such profiles, but as I said before, you can also adapt it according to your needs, according to manufacturer. Now, if you would like to make any changes in the project, we can very easily do that change. You just need, for example, if I'm going to move the door, it's very easy to update the frames. You just need to select any frame from the wall segment and press on Update Frame. And that's it, the frames will be recreated. Now, if we would like to modify something, let's say we would like to modify the framing above the door, we can anytime go to Modify Opening Framing. I just need to select any frame from the top side of the wall. And here we can make some changes. Let's say I'm going to add diagonal cripple panels. It will be Pratt or it could be Warren, and I'm going to add some offset between connections. And that's it. We have those changes in this case. Right now we can also add additional, if we want, we can add additional elements like additional horizontal or vertical elements. We just need to select 2 vertical studs, and additional horizontal element will be automatically added into this position. Also, we can add additional vertical element. I just need to select 1 vertical element, and the tool will add additional vertical element if it's necessary. Let's take a look into the another type of the wall, and let's take a look closer. As you see, this one is another type of the frames. Here you can see how the frames are created above the window. Also, there are additional metal details added above this bracing. So also it's very important, if you would like to add your own details, you can very easily do that. And now let's come back into the plan view, and let's check where exactly those frames are created. So as you see, those frames are created exactly in the layer where it should be. And in both two sides, we are going to have sheeting. Again, now let's take a look into this framing, into this wall, and we can also add additional bracings. But maybe first I'm going to use, for example, this type, this side. There are different bracing types. There are one method with adding bracings between studs and plates. It's very easy to add those plates. You just need to press 2 clicks in the sides where the bracing should be added. And again, from this point to this point. One more time, from this point to this point. And again, from this bracing to this plate. And that's it. Those bracings will be very easily added into the place where we need. One more possibility to add additional strapping bracings. We can go again to modify wall framing. Let's go into the bracing tab, and here I'm going to use another type of the families. Okay, and I'm going to say that I don't want to cut them at all. It will be added, and don't want to rotate them. It will be added from the internal and from the external sides of my selected wall. So again, after pressing OK, now the tool will change configuration for this wall, and now we're ready to add strapping bracings on the external side. Okay, and one more time for the internal side. So that's it. It will be like, as you see in my case, 2 families, 2 plates added from the both sides of our selected frames. So as you see, it's very easy to make changes in your configuration, and now that we're going to do, we can make shop drawings from those frames. So first that we have to do, we can go to shop drawing configuration dialog, and here you will see the settings that you can apply for making shop drawings. So the tool will create assembly, and here you can just say what views you would like to have. So in my case, I'm going to create a 3D view, plan side view, front side view, left side view, material takeoff, part list, and structural framing schedule. You can add your own name, and also you can say what exactly you would like to see in this layer. And also you can apply a view template. It's regular view template that comes from your project. So you can make your own design, your own graphical settings with your own scale, with your own shading, and then the tool will make those views automatically. Then you just need to pick a title block from the project. It could be any family, any title block from the project, and then you need to apply to select schedules from the project that will be used as a template for making your assembly schedules. So as in my case, for the part list, I'm going to use this schedule. As you see, this is the schedule that comes from the project. So again, you can make your own schedule with your own design, with your own columns, with your own filtering, and then you can apply this schedule as a template for making your future schedules. So those three I'm going to use for creating my part list, material takeoff, and structural framing schedule, and then I'm going to add tags on every frame. In the separate dialogues, you can set dimension types that you would like to use for the front side view, for the sheeting view, for the top side view, and so on. So now we can save this dialog, and you just need to select any frame from the wall and press on Create Frame Assembly. So now the tool will collect all frames from the wall, and the tool will create assembly, and if I'm going to select that assembly, I will be able to see in the properties the real mass of this assembly, so that also is very useful information. Those parameters are very useful. You will be able to use those parameters in your own schedules because those parameters, they're shared parameters. And let's take a look into the results. Here I have a 3D view, then the front side view with dimensions. As I can see, there are tags, but they are empty. That's because we have to sort structural connections by mark. We just need to press on that functionality. The tool will remember our all connections and then sort structural framings by mark. Or it could be sorted by ID if it's necessary for exporting that into CNC machine. That's it. We can place those views into the sheet. I'm going to say that here I'm going to add front side view, then the 3D view, then for example structural framing schedule will go here, then the part list, then material takeoff. Okay, we can check those results. As you see, the framing members are already added into the schedule. It has its own number, but still, if you want, you can modify that design and you can make your own if it's necessary. And then also we have the real mass of the frame, and then material takeoff. So after making that first sheet, we can go back to Shop Drawing Configuration dialog, and we can say that this sheet will be used as a template for making our future assemblies. That's it. We can come back again into our model. I can select again any frame from another side of the wall, and just we need to press on Create Frame Assembly. Okay, and yeah, we can just go directly into the sheet and we can just check results. Okay, and then again the schedules with a part list, material takeoffs, and with any schedule that you need. So as you see, Wall Plus is very flexible in modeling and with making shop drawings according to your company's standard needs. And later on, the final step, if it's necessary, you can export that information into CNC machine. Right now, as an examples, we have prepared two examples, export into the Havik machinery and into the Metro, because we think that those two, they are the mostly popular in the world. But also we can make export to any actually CNC machine that you use. And after that, you can just press export that into CNC. Maybe just I will show you the result. The tool automatically creates a catalog with the project name and with the day and time when the CNC file was created. And here you can see the wall name from the project, and then you will get detailed information that should be pushed into CNC. So this is the possibility where you can check what information is exported, and then every frame will have its own comment that is specific for every manufacturer. Let's say if we take a look into, for example, Metro, they only have just 6 operators. Only 6 operators for adding dimpers, for adding holes, or 3 holes. So it's only 3 operators for the end sides, ends of the studs. But if we take a look into the Havik, then there are more, because the Havik manufacturer, they are squeezing frames in the end. So also it's like additional operation. Okay, let's go back into the project. So in general, with the Wall Plus, you can very easily make those frames, then make shoe drawings, and then if it's necessary, you can export that to CNC machine. Now let's take a look into the Truss Plus. Again, with the Truss Plus, first you have to load our families, our trusses into the project. Again, those families, they are sample families that we provide together with the product. And then you have to go to Truss Database Manager, where you can modify common trusses, creasers, gable ends, monopitches, hip ends, jacks, and so on. You can modify those types. You can create your own if it's necessary. Then with system configuration, you can check the systems, and also if it's necessary, you can modify those systems. Then the final step, you have to check truss setting design settings. Here you can predefine the end type for the trusses. And when we are ready, we can just select the roof from the project. It's regular roof that I just prepared for this sample project. And we just need to go to Insert Truss System Grid. The tool automatically detects the roof and its slopes, but still we need to pick the roof edges that we need for this particular side of the roof. So with selecting those pitches, with selecting those slopes, we're indicating where exactly we would like to place trusses. And after pressing OK, now the tool will suggest me a truss type for this side of the project. And after selecting OK, right now the tool will insert 3D grid. It will be not trusses right now, it's only 3D grids, and later on we will generate trusses. We saw that making 3D grid, it's more flexible, and it's very easy for the users to know and to understand what exactly truss types they are going to use. So that's why we have created such grids. So this grid is created using the 3D model lines, and later on the tool will generate trusses on that system grid. With getting that grid, it's very easy to make decision if this is the really layout that I'm going to use for this side of the roof. Anytime you can modify that, you can go to jack configurations, you can check on the jacks on the, for example, and trusses begins from the number 1 jack, or how the side jack trusses begin with what number. So here you can just make some changes. Also, I'm going to use the valley set grid, and the tool very easily will update that grid for you. Now we can insert valley set grid. Okay, once again. Okay. So we have added a value set grid, and also when we have such grid, we can still make some changes with our frames, with our studs in the wall. Let's say we would like to align those studs with our trusses. So it's very easy to make that, because here we have possibility to align studs with the different frame stud. You just need to select the stud from the wall and then the one truss, like one 3D grid. And that's it. The tool will automatically align those studs together with the trusses. The same we can do for this side of the wall. Here we have to wait a little bit, because right now the tool is aligning all those studs. But as you remember, we added that wall into the assembly. So also assembly should be also regenerated. So now we are ready to generate trusses. I'm going to select the grid. We have to go into the generate trusses. And here you can get the list of the trusses that will be used for this side of the roof. So I'm going to use, in my case, the tool shows me what types of the trusses I'm going to use. So I'm going to use the common trusses, hip-horn, end trusses, jack trusses, jack rafters, and girders. So that's it. After just setting those types, we can just press on OK. And right now the tool will generate those trusses for every line that is in the grid. So that process for this type of the roof will take, in my case, maybe a minute or two. But you can just imagine how much time you would need if you would try to make that manually. So in this case, you can just run the process and enjoy of watching how the trusses are created automatically. Okay, so we're generating trusses, and actually every that truss will be as a regular Revit truss, so it will have analytical lines, and later on you will be able to use that again in calculation system. You will be able to add loads for this truss. But still, this truss will be very flexible with many parameters. If you would like, you will be able to modify those truss parameters if it's necessary. And yeah, and it will be a really smart family for not just like getting a nice view, but also we will be able to use that in the shop drawings, and later on in exporting that into CNC machine. Okay, so we are finishing with making trusses. And that's it. So let's take a look into those trusses. As you see how it looks in the ends, and we used here a Hobbit manufacturer for making those trusses, because the ends of those all those frames, they're looking nice because they are like cut in the manufacturer is making cuts in the end of those frames. And now let's make the same thing for the valley set grid. Again, the tool shows me that here I'm going to use only the valley trusses. And as you see right now, the tool makes those trusses according to the roof shape. Okay, and we have almost finished with making valley trusses. Now, if we would like to complete this side of the roof, for example, we can select this truss, and there are additional possibilities where you can, for example, copy those trusses. We can make array. I'm going to add 5 trusses, but at the same time, it will be automatically updated according to the roof. And that's it. We have those trusses. As you see, this one is a little bit shorter than another's. And if it's necessary, actually you can place trusses manually. You can make copy, but still there is possibility to use some functionality that allows you to update those trusses. So right now I'm going, for example, to copy this truss here, and one more time I'm going to use this truss, and let's make one more copy here. And now when we have such trusses, we can just select those 2 trusses from the model, and there is an option to update trusses from the roof. Okay, yeah, and those ends will be automatically changed according to the roof shape. Now let's make one more very quick example for this side of the roof. Again, I'm going to select the roof, insert the system grid, and I'm going to make the grid for this side of the roof. Okay. And again, let's generate trusses for this side of the roof. Here I'm going to use that type for the common trusses, then rafter, Havik side rafter, and then gable trusses. Okay, we're generating trusses for this side of the roof right now, and here I would like to show one more example where you can select 2 frames, and you can make diagonal frames between those 2 selected ones. So, like in my case, I can select, for example, this family and this one, and there is an option to frame 2 beams. I'm going to use Outlooker family. You just need to predefine the spacings between those frames, and the tool will add those automatically. Also, as I said before, you can modify the trusses if it's necessary. We can switch on, for example, drop top possibility for this truss. Okay, and it will be automatically changed. So also it could be as an option for like as an example, you can modify the families and properties manually if it's necessary. And then I'm going to come back into this side of the roof. Let's finish this roof. So again, I'm going to create trusses for this side of the roof. Just very quickly. Okay. Again, we have a system grid, and again, let's generate trusses. Yeah, the tool will remember all your last settings, so you will not need to select those families again and again. The tool will remember that. So now the last step that we're going to do in this roof, I'm going to make an array between those two selected trusses from both sides of the roof. So that's it. We have trusses in that side. And now we can just select two trusses from opposite sides of the roof, go to auto copy two trusses. And there is an option to add the spacings. It will be arrayed from the one side or from the both sides, and then we can also update it from the roof. So the truss shape also automatically will adjust according to the roof shape. So as you see right now, the tool is making array, but when it will come into the middle of the roof, the truss shape will be automatically changed. Yes, we have to wait maybe just a half of a minute. Yeah, right now we are in the middle of generating trusses. So as you see, you can just enjoy of making trusses, because if we would need to make that manually on such type of the roof, so it will be really a headache. Okay, so we are finishing with making trusses for the whole roof. Okay, and one more example that I would like to show is that you can, yeah, so as you see, we have the tool automatically updated those trusses, and it will be shorter in the middle of our roof. And now also, if you would like, you can modify those trusses. For example, if you would like to modify them overhang, we can go to modify truss ends and overhangs, and then you can select your own type. Let's add 0 into the width here, and also you can modify the height if it's necessary. And right now the tool will update the end of such truss. That's it. as you see, it's very easy to update those trusses individually if it's necessary. Now I would like to show one more example on this side of the roof. Again, I'm going to create a 3D grid. Here I would like to show you a new feature that we added into the new version of metal framing. Here I'm going to use this type of 3D grid. And then we are going to generate trusses. And okay, I'm going to use those types. I just want to show an example where you can modify the profiles. As you can see in this example, the frames and the profiles, they're totally different from the previous ones. So as you can see here, you can have such profiles for your studs and for your all frames. So also you can, and you can have those kind of profiles in your trusses. And the last one, the last example, but very interesting example, that you can generate, you can just draw a model line, and you can create a truss using the model lines from the project. The model line will indicate the bottom chord of the truss, and here we have possibility to create truss types from the model line. Again, you will need to select the roof, and as you see, the tool will show you the face of the roof and then the model line that we just selected. And here you can make any kind of changes. It's like very flexible dialog where you can draw your own truss design with your own frames, and it could be created in any way as you want. So let's make such truss. And now, after pressing OK, here you just have to add the truss name or some short description about your family. And now the tool will generate a new truss for us and will place that truss into the place where it should be. Okay, and as you see, we have almost the truss here, and that's it. So the tool created a truss for us according to design that we needed. So this is extremely powerful for making trusses and for placing them automatically into the place where it should be. And the last step, you can make shop drawings. It's very easy, and the same scenario as we did with the walls. You have to go to shop drawing configuration settings. You have to say, and you have to choose assembly views that you're going to use for this trusses for making shop drawings. Again, what kind of schedules, what kind of views, what view templates, what tags you're going to create. And after that, you need to sort the trusses, so the tool will add numbers into every truss. As you see here in my example, there are 101 truss created. And we did that in extremely short period. So we did that in approximately maybe 20 or 25 minutes. So now the tool is sorting those trusses, and we will be able to use that in preparing shop drawings. Okay, so we're finishing with sorting our trusses. Okay, that's it. Every truss will have its own properties with a number and with its description. And now we're ready to make a shop drawing. So you just need to press on the truss and press on create a truss assembly. And that's it. Again, we have a 3D view, front side view with dimensions and with the tags, then material takeoff, and the part list in the end. Okay, and then the last view is analytical model. We can check analytical lines and analytical model of such a project. Okay, so I'm coming back into my slides. So thank you so much for your time. I really hope that it was useful. So in general, the metal framing pack, it contains two products, the Wall Plus and Truss Plus, but it works in the common way. First, you can very easily make your frames on the wall or on the roof. Then the tool allows you to make shop drawings according to your company standards or country standards, and then there is possibility to export that into CNC machine if it's necessary. So thank you so much, and if you have any questions, you're welcome to add those questions into GoToWebinar questions dialog.